Hello everyone, my name is Han Solo and I have some great news to share with you. The MK5 is finished. I tested it for quite a few months and I decided to release the instructions because I think it's the most awesome prosthetic I've ever built. So I'm going to explain quite a few things you need to know before entering the instructions. You need the instructions that I link down below in the description. And you need to watch this video after building the prosthetic, and I'll show you why. Okay, once you've finished the coolest prosthetic in the world, you're going to let it rest for 5 minutes and grab these bricks. One 5 holes lift arm, 3 blue Technic pins, 2 black Technic pins, and 1 axle that's 3 bricks long. First of all, you're going to connect the black pins to the edges of the lift arm, and you should have this. The next step is to get the prosthetic and remove these bricks right here, only the black ones, only these ones, in order to connect the 2 motors that go in here. Now you're going to grab 2 motors from the Spike Prime set and you are going to watch out for this. This is an indicator, so you're going to need this aligned. You don't start building like this, you actually need to pull this manually in the center. So it should look like this, completely aligned. And the other motor should look like this as well. First of all, we're going to connect the black pins with holes that we removed from the prosthetic. And we are going to connect them like this, on the white side of each motor. Okay. The next step is to grab the axle and connect the 2 motors from this side. Now you need the 3 pins and connect them to the white part of the motor. So you should have 1 motor with only the black pins and the other one with the black pins and the yellow and blue parts. Now you get the prosthetic. And right here, you're going to connect the black pins with the motors, and here, you're going to connect the motor. So that's where we are going to connect these black pins with holes, and it should look like this. This is one side, it fits perfectly. And now you need to connect the other side. It's a little difficult, there's plenty of things trying to connect together right here. And now you're going to grab this brick that we built before. And you see these 2 little holes right here. So you're going to connect this to the motors. And now we're going to the next step, which is connecting the motors to the hub. This is the Lego Spike Prime hub. You can turn it up. It can connect to your phone by Bluetooth, which is right here. And yeah, once we have this built, we are actually going to use 2 ports right here. You are going to get the C port and the E port, and you're going to connect the motors that we connected to the prosthetic. And it should look like this. It doesn't matter which motor you connect to the hub. The only thing that matters is that you don't put the motors in the other hole, holes. So the program won't work because it doesn't have any orders for the other ports to communicate with the motors. And it should look like this. This is my left side, so C and E, only for those 2 motors. Okay. The next step is to grab this part right here and pull it outside. So it looks like this. Now we can move like this. And we are going to put the hub with the connections looking on top. Now you can see this little connection right here on top of the hub. And you need to connect it to the part that we just moved. And it has to be completely aligned so it fits perfectly. It should look like this. Once you connected this pin right here to the hub, you can actually pull the other pins inside so the hub stays in place. There's two right here, one is here, the other one is here. And you can actually see right here there's other pins that need to go inside. So the hub is fixed to the prosthetic and it actually gets a lot of resistance to the prosthetic. Once we're done connecting the hub to the prosthetic, we need to turn the prosthetic all the way over and remove this part. Once you remove this bottom cover, you need to connect to the hole that's looking forward this pressure sensor that is going to be connected right here. Once you got the connection, you pull this thing through the prosthetic and grab it on the other side. Turn the prosthetic over and just so you can see it. These two small holes right here, you can actually see there's two holes on top right here and there's two on almost the center. So you need to connect these two to those pins right here. It should look like this. Okay, once you finish this, you need this brick right here that was floating in the instructions. And there's a text that says that this is going to be connected to the pressure sensor. So you need to connect it right here. And it should look like this. Let's take a closer look. Now that we have the hub connected to the pressure sensor, we need to put this on the prosthetic again. Now we need to turn the prosthetic over again. And we need to disconnect this little brick right here from the hub. And you actually need to pull this thing up in order to access the inside of the prosthetic. Right here you can actually see there's one pin on both sides, so you need to remove them. And you'll notice that some things are falling off. That's because we need them to fall off in order to build the motor that is going to move the hand. The bricks that should fall off are these ones. Now we go to the bottom part and we see another pin that's connected on both sides, so we remove them as well. Just halfway. So we have these two bricks that fall off. Okay, so once you remove those pins, you actually have these bricks right here. Okay, so once we remove the bricks from the prosthetic, we need to connect them in order to fit the interior of the prosthetic, like this. And like this, forming like an L shape. And it's the same on the other side, so you have this brick right here that goes up. And you should be able to make this with the bricks that fell off of the prosthetic. And now you are going to connect these bricks the exact same position that they were before. So in order for you to see it, I'm going to turn the prosthetic all the way over. You're going to grab the L-shape lift arms and you're going to connect them first. Watch out because the front needs to go first inside so it fits perfectly. And you're going to connect the bricks on the same spot that they were before. And once you've done connecting the lift arms on top, you're going to need to connect the lift arms on the bottom. So you actually need to pull these pins inside. So it should look like this. Pin and pin are inside. And now the motor is completely fixed in the interior, so if you pull outside you can't actually pull it, and if you pull upwards you can actually pull it because it's fixed in both ways. And now you are going to connect this part right here to the first port on the top part of the prosthetic, and you need to hide this cable right here so it doesn't stay ugly on the outside. So you pull it inside like this. So the next step is actually connecting every finger to one cable and pulling the cable inside right in this hole right here. As you can see, I'm going to show it to you. There's a hole right here, and you need to put the 5 cables inside so they are centered in one spot. And you'll need something like this. It's a really simple build. I'm going to show it to the camera. So this build consists of 2 bushes, 2 Technic lift arms, 1 gray axle, which is 1x3, and this brick right here, which is 1 pin, and there's 2 axles on the inside. So once you've built this, you need to connect the axle in the center of the motor and the pin on one edge. So this is what is going to give control to the hand, to each finger once you connect it. As you can see, when I pull this around, the fingers close. Once you've done connecting every single finger, including this one, to a cable, and then the cables going inside this little hole and then on the motor, you can actually close this part right here. And you can see there's a little space right here, so the cable can go through it without a problem. And the only part that you need to fix right now is this. So now the hub is connected. The top part is completely fixed. You can't remove it. You can actually hold the prosthetic by here so it doesn't fall. And now the only steps that are missing are connecting this lift arm. It's actually a 1x9 lift arm with 2 pins on the edges. And you're going to connect this square right here to the lift arm. It should look like this. And it goes all the way inside till the other side, and you can actually fix it. The last part is how to connect these motors to the prosthetic. And I'm going to show you. There's this brick on the front right here that you need to take apart. Well, actually both sides. And you need to connect a cable to each one of the pins with holes. And you are going to build the exact same thing for the motors on the top part as the motor that's inside here. 2 Technic bushes, 2 Technic 1x2 lift arms, 1 Technic 1x3 axle, and 1 pin that has an axle of 2 inside right here. The connection is really simple. You need to take the yellow axle on the center on both sides. It should look like this. One here and one here. Now you're going to pull the cables to the front and connect them where they are connected in the instructions. So one cable is connected right here. Right here. And the other one on the same spot, but on the other side. The last step is connecting really small rubber bands to the fingers. So you can actually see there's toe balls right here. I don't know if you know the brick, but it's this little ball right here. And there's actually 4 other balls right here
So you need to connect each finger to the balls right here. For example, this one is going to the center finger. So we're going to do that. And now the finger is completely tensed, and you can actually have an open arm the entire time. The next one is right here. You connect this here. The next one is on the other side. You connect it to the finger. The last one of this side is right here. You pull it like this. It should look like this. Or if you want, you can pull this one on top. So it's a bit tighter. And now on the other side, you need to connect this brick with the rubber band. And that's it. Once you finish the prosthetic, you actually wonder, what's this brick for? You have this little brick right here on the instructions, and in the PDF you actually see this brick in black as white, so don't worry, it's the exact same thing. And the only purpose of this brick is to turn on the hub from the inside, so you don't need to pull the hub outside the every single time you want to activate the prosthetic. So you can see here, there's the hub interior, that's the on and off button, and you pull this thing inside for a few seconds, and you can actually move on the different programs inside the hub just by pulling a little bit to the left or to the right. And to turn it off, it's the exact same thing. And once you're done, you connect this where it's supposed to go, and you actually have the on and off button right here.
Okay, once we're done building this part of the prosthetic, we need to grab this cable and jump onto our computer. In order to connect the hub to the computer, we need to grab the cable that comes in the box of the Spike Prime set and connect this small micro USB connection to the computer. Once you connect the hub to the computer, a red light should appear right here, and you don't need to worry about breaking the USB port right here, because it fits perfectly. I actually was very lucky to build this in this way. So let's jump into the computer and explain what everything does and how to activate the prosthetic with this software that's called Lego Education Spike. Once you open the project that I linked in the description on the same file as the instructions, you will need to check that the computer detects the hub with this button right here. If you see this thing right here, you should have 3 motors, A, C, and E, on one side, and 1 pressure sensor on the right side connected to B. Once you checked the hub is connected, you go to this play button on the bottom right side and click it. You'll hear some noises on the hub, and that means that the project is loaded to the Spike Prime hub, and we actually can use the prosthetic, and I'll show you how. Okay guys, we finished the prosthetic. Congratulations, you managed to get to the end of the video. And yeah, I'm just going to show you how I use it and how to turn it on. So first of all, as in every prosthetic that I've built, I put the arm inside this bracelet, I like to call it. And now we are going to use the brick that's in the instructions to turn on the hub. Okay, and for default, you don't actually see it, but if you go right here, there's a little light that shows what program is running right now. So I only need to go to the right one time on the program number 1 in order to activate my software. And now you can actually place this in place. And now you can actually put this back in place. And the mechanism is actually really simple. I can put the arm in any place I want, which I think is really cool. It's a very important step on my prosthetic building process. So the prosthetic is really simple to use. The only thing you need to know is that if you push the pressure sensor halfway, you are going up, and if you push it all the way inside, you're going down. So that's the only programming I did on the prosthetic. And of course, on the last step of the instructions, there's my social media. So if you want to ask me something about the prosthetic, you have any doubts on the building process, you don't need to worry about asking me. So I'll try to answer every single one of you. So that's it. You actually built the most sophisticated and cool prosthetic that someone has ever built with Lego. And I really hope that these instructions reach to everyone in the world, so anyone that has Lego can build it. And actually, if it helps someone with a similar condition as me, that would be the coolest thing ever. So thanks to everyone for watching this video. Share the instructions, share the video to everyone you know, so they can actually spread the message even more. And that's it.